respected jury, and my worthy opponents. A very good evening to one and all. This House would free Syria, and we side opposition today completely disagree with the motion. Opposition today would be providing 4 strong, irrefutable arguments. Firstly, freeing Syria would mean dissolving Syria. Secondly, selfish foreign interests. Third, government is democratically elected. Fourth, the future of Syria. First, I would start off by rebutting each and every argument put forth by first speaker. The first speaker said that there is consequences of falling apart. But ladies and gentlemen, he said that 70,000 innocent civilians were killed. But how can we say that it was only by the government? We had the rebels also fighting. 70,000, that was statistic that came out from the UN, did not say it was only the government. It was the riot group, it was the opposition group, which was completely responsible for it and had their share. Secondly, they said freeing Syria would ensure that there is good infrastructure. No, thank you. Freeing Syria would improve infrastructure. Ladies and gentlemen, freeing Syria is the alternative to improve infrastructure. Is that what we are debating today? For good infrastructure, you have various other things, and just making vague arguments like this cannot be justified to free Syria now. No, thank you. The speaker also spoke about high rates of murder, rape. But ladies and gentlemen, we should know that these statistics cannot be accepted without proper knowing from where they got it. Giving vague statements, we cannot accept. Yes. We trust the United Nations. Where did I say that I do not trust the United Nations? The United Nations said that 70,000 civilians were killed, but did not mention whether it was by the government, by the riots, by the opposition, by whom. Moving on to my own arguments. Firstly, I will be speaking about the fact that freeing Syria would mean dissolving Syria. If Syria was free, it would become a center of the world's most worst political, economic unrest. At present, we do not have any clear alternative which is strong, experienced. No political party which is experienced and strong in Syria right now. We will end up, yes.
So does the speaker advocate that to strengthen the Syrian political process, we should allow the debilitating conflict to continue for even longer?
No, if you do not have a clear alternative right now, who will lead the country? Who is going to be its leader? Who will head the company? Are you, in a way, fragmenting Syria? Without no clear alternative, without knowing who is going to head next, if you bring the president now, ladies and gentlemen, what is the state of Syria next? We do not have a clear alternative. No, thank you. There are 2 unexperienced parties called the Free Syrian Army and the National Coalition Party, both of which are completely inexperienced. Their cause is one, they want to bring the president down. But they are fighting against each other. There's a majority of people for National Coalition and another set of people for Free Syrian Army. If we have it such a way, what is the proof that when Assad comes down, that they will not fight against each other and again cause another riot? And they are not experienced. The National Coalition Party, the only recognized party by the Arab League, is 1 year old. No experience, was set up outside Syria. No political gain over there, no experience, no proper gaining in Syria itself. How can we even justify them coming up and doing good for the nation? Secondly, no thank you, selfish foreign interests. Almost all the humanitarian crisis in Syria is being fueled by external powers. Syria is a flourishing nation. It is the leading exporter of cotton. It is the only significant crude oil producing country in the eastern Mediterranean region. In 2010, it was estimated to total about 5.5 million people. Civil unrest in the nation is fulfilling their vested interests. Freeing Syria would mean to make it susceptible to the external party. Already Israel has occupied the Golan Heights. If we are going to free Syria right now without any proper alternative, Israel is going to come inside and annex the entire nation. We are going to fragment Syria without no proper leader. Complete riots in the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, is that what we want? In the name of freeing Syria, we are fragmenting Syria. Summing up what I have said today, firstly I spoke that freeing Syria would mean dissolving Syria. Secondly, the selfish foreign interest, which can be really bad for the Syria in the near future. Considering the above, I request the chair and the jury present here to please side with opposition.
there will be more blood on your hands if you do not act now. And now is the time to act. This brings me on to my second point. The time is right, and the international community is ready. The Arab League have acted. They are fully behind the move to remove the Assad regime. The most influential members of this Arab League, Qatar and Saudi Arabia, are fully committed. In 2011, the Saudi
Respected jury, my worthy opponents, my fellow teammates, and everyone else sitting here, a very good evening. I will be continuing on with my first speaker's point by stating two other points. First, that the present government is already democratic and has been elected democratically. And the second, about the future of Syria. Before I move on to explain these points, I would like to rebut almost all of the arguments put forth by team proposition till now. First, they did accept that the death toll is due to rebels as well as the government. What we are saying right now is that it is mainly because of the rebels, and we cannot trust the information that is being given because it is being given by unreliable sources. The rebels have attacked helicopters that came to provide them with financial and aid. The helicopters that came to provide them with food and water were attacked and arms were taken. That is what the rebel is doing. Also, they attacked the military base and took over it. This is the present situation of the rebel group. So clearly, the rebels are causing more trouble than the government. No, thank you. Also, the proposition has said that Syria cannot overcome the conflict alone and that it needs international help. Then please, I'm asking the proposition. If Syria needs external help, then give Syria external help. Why are you proposing to remove Assad? Just give them external help them deal with the situation. No, thank you. Also, their model is totally flawed. Syria is already a democratic country. I will be expanding this in my further speech. Also, they've been taking this huge blame on Assad, and as I've already said, that Assad is a really nice man. He's done a lot of good things to the nation. And no, thank you. And they're putting all the blame on Assad and using sources that are completely unreliable. Yes.
Are you saying that the United Nations is unreliable source of information?
As has been already said by the first speaker, the UN only said the death toll. They only claimed the number of deaths. They have not specified who the reason for those deaths were. So really, when you put the blame all on Assad, you are doing it from an unreliable source. Also, they said that the international community is ready for this change. But please, the conflict and the issues about Syria, what happens if the international community is ready? We need Syria to be ready. We need Syrian people to be ready. Moving on to my point. My first point is that the present government has been democratically elected. Assad was approved as a president in a plebiscite for 7 years. Let me tell the proposition what a plebiscite is. A plebiscite is a direct vote in which an entire electorate is asked to either accept or reject a particular proposal. It is a direct form of democracy. So Assad has been directly elected. No, thank you. Democratically elected, sorry. In the May 11, 2012 elections that were held in the middle of the civil war, their results, 134 votes to the Baath party and 5 votes to the opposition. Please explain to me, if the people don't want Assad staying there, why have they given so many votes to the Baath party? This would not happen. Also, the elections, as I said, the elections were in the middle of the civil war. If people, no thank you. Moving on to my second point, the future of Syria. We are here talking about making Assad step down, but the opposition is thinking of the bigger picture. What happens after Assad steps down? What happens is that the company breaks, the company fragments, a lot of international communities come up, other countries take over power, and Syria will cease to exist, as has already been spoken by the first speaker. This opposition at present is completely weak. As she said, there is a Free Syrian Army and there is a national coalition. They both themselves are not coordinating. How do you expect them to run an entire nation with an experience of only 1 year? Also, let us compare the situation with Egypt. Freeing Egypt was first claimed as extremely successful, but look at what's going through now. At present, there's so much chaos, and because of the transitional government. Why? Because even now people don't trust the leader. People even now have a problem. People will continue to have a problem as long as they don't get what they want. It's the government's responsibility to tell the people and give the people what they need, and not just everything that they desire. Also, moving on to the point that the opposition is extremely weak. Muaz al-Khatib, the president of the opposition, he himself resigned in March 2013, claiming that the opposition was not getting enough help from the international community. Please tell me if a president who himself is not ready to lead the nation will come up and actually support the nation for all its time. So summing up on what I spoke about the president's government being democratically elected and the fact about the future of Syria. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the speaker for his speech and call on that second speaker.
Fellow members of the jury, my teammates, and who were the opponents. This House would free Syria, and I, the third speaker of Inside Opposition, am completely against the motion. As third speaker, I shall be restating each and every point so far put forth by my worthy opponents and by my worthy opponents. Ladies and gentlemen, but I would like to point out the major flaws so far put forth by the first, second, and the third speaker, Side Opposition. Side Opposition defined freeing Syria as removing the president, but they failed to tell what will happen after we remove the president, who will become the leader, and who will take the responsibility of the whole country. This was very clearly rebutted and cunningly rebutted by my first speaker, that it can lead to fragmentation of the whole country. Not a city, not two cities, but the whole country. It can be eaten up by the neighboring countries because of its everlasting rivalry with Israel or various other countries such as Jordan. Ladies and gentlemen, they also talked about their model, which was a military intervention by the UN. Ladies and gentlemen, UN reported in their speech that military intervention by any possible source will result in increase of casualties rather than decreasing it. So, had the opposition actually researched about the topic, they would have not provided with such an unstable motion or unstable model. They kept on talking about how 70,000 people have been killed, and this source has been verified by the United Nations. But side opposition has clearly been telling the side opposition that UN did not provide the people or Wikipedia, as you took it from, the source of who killed these 70 people. So ladies and gentlemen, I don't get what is so hard to grasp the side opposition that there is no source of such for such information. They also talk about the need for a stable Syria. Ladies and gentlemen, we also want a stable Syria. Side opposition over here has been portraying side opposition as some deadly evil, so that Syria remains a democracy which they portray is a democracy with a dominant rule. Ladies and gentlemen, Syria is not a democracy. Syria is a democracy, but not a democracy with a prominent ruler. Ladies and gentlemen, the third speaker talked about how Bashar al-Assad inherited the seat. Let me bring your attention that his father was killed, he died, and he had to take up the seat. And in the next election, he won fairly by 134 versus 16 votes. This is what we call a democracy. I'll take you in a minute, sir. Then they talked about how how we portray UN as how they portray UN as unbiased and reliable. Ladies and gentlemen, if UN had been reliable, then the first resolution for Syria wouldn't have been vetoed upon by Russia or China. What makes you think that Russia and China won't use their veto power again if UN passes another resolution? Yes, sir.
How can you say that the democracy in Syria when the Syrian regime is killing the president?
Ladies and gentlemen, a live example of how side opposition cannot grasp a point. There is no verified source of who is conducting the killing. There is an unknown source which says there are 4 mass murdering centers working under the opposition. So can you say how government is killing so many people? Ladies and gentlemen, they also talked about how Syria cannot win this war on its own. We agree, provide Bashar al-Assad with all the important resources that he needs financially and politically, and let him stabilize his own country. He was ruling for more than 12 years peacefully until the Arab Spring started. So he can re-stabilize his country if provided the resources as well. Yes, ma'am. What makes you think that if the opposition comes into power, they won't fight for throne among themselves, as said by my second speaker? A recent event, a media conference carried out by Al-Resala showed how Bashar al-Assad's speeches generally making reference to need for a national dialogue while touching on protest being work of foreign agents. He proposed a peaceful talk under the inspection and the highlight of the Arab League and the United Nations, the favorite of side proposition. And with the opposition leader. Ladies and gentlemen, opposition is unable to provide with a leader, and that is why the peaceful meeting is on hold. No, thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, they also talked about how Syria is dissolving right now. Ladies and gentlemen, if we free Syria now, it will dissolve faster. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you statistics of the past Syrian wars with various countries. We have various wars. Syria had a 6-day war with Israel in 3 years, and it also had many wars with the surrounding countries. What makes you think that surrounding countries are helping Syria for? They need a part of Syria. Syria is good in its agriculture and its oil sources, and that is why it needs Syria. I will now be stating my team's very own point. So my team talked about 4 irrefutable arguments, which none of them could rebut properly, about how we are fragmenting Syria. Second, how there is no political stable future of Syria, and how various sources are trying to stop Syria from actually being democratic. And it was also the conspiracy of neighboring countries. And ladies and gentlemen, there is no critical history of this Bashar al-Assad. And that is why I was the judge side by team officer.
I'd like to thank the speaker for his speech. As we begin our reply speeches, I'd like to invite our reply speaker.
My fellow opponents, my teammates, and everyone else sitting here, a good evening. I am here to paint 2 really different pictures. One that was clearly realistic and did not make unnecessary assumptions, and another which was completely filled with assumptions and painted someone who has not done so much bad to the country as a criminal. Today's debate focused on 4 major flashpoints. First, the proposition came up and said that Syria needs to come out of its situation and that it needs international help for this. We came up and said that yes, it needs help, then give Syria help. Why do we need to remove Assad from his post if he's been doing such a good job and has been ruling from 12 years? Also, they came up and said that Syria is not a democratic country. Clearly, this fact of theirs is flawed. We came up and reminded them that Syria is a democratic country and that the only reason Assad took over after his dad was because the party was still in power when his father had died. Also, we came up and presented a really strong argument about the fact that after removing Assad, the future of Syria is not clear. There is no clear alternative if you remove Assad. This, they could not rebut at all. We talked about so many internal conflicts among the rebel group. They did not provide us with a solution. They could not tell us what the future of Syria would be after removing Assad. Also, we talked about selfish foreign interests, about how so many countries want to take control over Syria, and by removing Assad and leaving Syria, exposing it to the international community, is going to fragment Syria. This too was extremely weakly rebutted by them. We also made another argument about Israel trying to occupy the Golan Heights. They did not touch this argument at all, because clearly they did not have an answer to this. They made extremely vague statements, took one piece of statistics, made a bunch of assumptions, and portrayed Assad as this real bad man who's been criminal and has been doing a lot of criminal activities and is not right for his nation. They just don't realize that Assad has done far more good in his actual span of ruling and that all these accusations that the proposition has been making has only come during the civil war, and we're not sure whether these crimes were committed by the opposition or by the proposition. Also, we would like to say that we do respect Qatar and we do respect the position and the support that all the Arab countries are providing to Syria. But at the same time, we do accept that there is absolutely no alternative and that we have no hope after making Assad go. So, keeping all these in mind, I sincerely request the jury to side with side opposition. Thank you.
Gentlemen, debaters, coaches, judges, congratulations to all of us for a fantastic close of the year QSDL National Championship 2013. In commemoration of this grand final championship of the debate season, we have introduced a new category of awards, a special category award. In appreciation of your exemplary service and dedication through full participation in QatarDebate's 2012-2013 School League, we have 3 awards. Best Independent School, Best International School, and Best Novice School. The Best Independent School Award goes to the independent school which has taken part in all the 4 tournaments of this QatarDebate League season. And that goes to Arwa bint Abdullah Independent Secondary School for Girls. Can I request the coach, Ms. Hannah Jalal, to come forward and receive the award from our Executive Director, Dr. Hayat Marafi. For all 4 tournaments this debate league season goes to Park House English School. In behalf of the coach and Lawrence, can I request Ms. Dharini Rajendra to come forward and accept the award. A school that has come to QatarDebate League for the first time this year. They have joined our program this year. And they came to all the 4 tournaments. And that is Miss Saeed International School. Unfortunately, we do not have a coach here. But congratulations to the 3 schools. Starting with the Speaker Awards. Top 15 Speaker Awards. Can we have some cheers, please, for top 15 speakers of nationals today? 15th position, we have Musa Zakat from Park House English School. Sari from Park House English School.
Now everyone is getting,
Tying at the 10th position are 2 speakers, Abdullah Al-Shakarchi from Qatar Academy and Maria Jyoti Chiriat from DPS-Modern Indian School. Abdullah Al-Shakarchi. At the 9th position, Safa Kasha from Park House English School. Jamal Al-Ani from Qatar Academy, Paul Ilari from Qatar Academy, and Haritha Ramadori from DPS-Modern Indian School. Three individuals again. Shakir Ahmed from Qatar Academy, Oliver Tal from Doha College, and Faith Zafarullah Kopekar from DPS-Modern Indian School. Oliver Tal. Yes. At the second position is Fatima Faizeen Shahima from Doha College.
Yes.
And finally, the best speaker of QSTL National Championship 2013 goes to Apurva DPS-Modern Indian School at 306 points. Moving on to the team awards. Let's have some cheers please for top 5 teams for the national championship. DPS-Modern Indian School, SMS. The coach and the team, please come forward.
Because they might be either first or second.
After the grand final debate we saw on the motion, this house would free Syria with a panel of 5 chairs and a decision made of 4-1 split. The champion is Doha College!
हाँ वो तो जाना ही था ना वो तो
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the champions of this year of this Debate League National Championship. And the runner-up, who was a tough beat as well, right? Please come forward with the coach. Applause for the runners-up, please.